Hello everyone and welcome to another Mark Stevens sequence. Today we're working on sequence number 9 in Mark Stevens sequencing textbook or book that's available. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in having a few sequences that are really well thought out, good alignment, totally safe biomechanics. This one, sequence number 9, is all about twisting. The focus is on twisting, and I would maybe even add balance. So dare I say this one is super fun. It's as far as props that you'll need. Now I don't want to say you're gonna need all the help you can get. I don't want to say that, but I will say if you have props, bring them. So if you have some blocks, maybe some more blocks, a block or two might be helpful. This is going to be a really fun sequence. I like this one. I'm excited to do this one. Let's just get right into it. So starting in Sukhasana easy pose. As always, if this pose isn't actually easy for you, sitting up on a blanket or a little cushion of some kind and sitting up nice and tall, hands on the knees, lengthening through the spine, closing the eyes. This is one of my favorite parts of yoga, not because I'm sitting here on my butt doing nothing, but because where else in life do you get that opportunity to, before you begin something, really take a few moments and make that clear delineation between whatever you were doing before and what you're about to do right now. It really sets the tone for your yoga practice, so do take those first few moments to set an intention for your practice. It's something so important that's helping you to learn and grow and be healthier that we're actually taking time to sit, close our eyes, and focus on the practice we're about to do. Once you've set an intention for your practice, take a few slow, deep breaths through the nose. And if you're still struggling with finding an intention, it can be something as simple as, I just want to get healthier. Or maybe it's specifically, I want better balance today, or I want more strength overall. Just picking one of them. And once you've got that, your 3 slow, deep breaths through the nose, taking all the time you need. If you're not quite finished with those 3 deep breaths, carry on. And when you're ready, slowly open the eyes, lifting up nice and tall, heading into a very simple seated twist. So lifting up nice and tall, twisting to the right. So right hand behind you to support, and left arm crosses over the right knee, lengthening through the spine. So we don't want to hunch as we twist, but rather lifting up nice and tall. I like to think about a pretend necklace that I'm wearing, and I want to show the necklace. Lifting up tall, twisting to the right. Allow the head to follow the twist, but instead of cranking on the neck and the low back, I like to think about the navel trying to stay forward as the mid-back twists, almost like you're wringing out a cloth. So the ends of that cloth are a little bit less of a twist, and right in the center is the majority of your twist. One more inhale to lengthen here. On the exhale, unraveling, unwinding. Feeling lopsided for a second, because that tells you, and then you know that you've done something really good. So lifting up nice and tall, heading into the other side, twisting to the left hand behind you, right arm crossing over. Once again, lifting up nice and tall. And if available, thinking about the navel staying forward and the neck not twisting as much. Trying to get that twist in the mid-back, centered around the mid-back, and then the head simply follows. Once again, remembering that necklace that you're trying to show off. If you're a yogi, it's probably some mala beads. Lengthening. Every inhale, lifting up taller. And every exhale, opening up just a little bit more. One more inhale to lengthen here. On the exhale, unraveling, unwinding. And we'll get moving. Coming onto hands and knees, preparing for Vidalasana. And some cat-dog tilts. In your hands and knees position, we'll head right straight away into this. On the inhale, we'll drop the belly, arch the back, and gently lift the chin. On the exhale, curving and rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Again, inhale, arch the back, lifting the chin. Exhale, curving and rounding. Again, inhale, arch the back. And exhale, curving and rounding, pressing that space between the shoulder blades high to the sky. One more, see if we can go just a little bit deeper. We're not too warm yet, but just a little. Last exhale, curving and rounding. Inhale back to neutral. On your next inhale, extend. I have to shuffle over a little bit. Extend your right arm out to the side in a T position. My arm's hiding. On the exhale, this one's called thread the needle, or Urdhva Mukha Pashasana in Sanskrit. So the hand goes between the left hand and knee, and carefully lowering your right cheek towards the floor. If it doesn't make it, one of those blocks, or maybe two of those blocks. Trying to think about length through the spine. Now, in this position, it's hard to imagine because we can't really see what our back is doing. But generally in this position, the direction that your eyes are looking, that hip, so right now we're looking to the left hip generally likes to skew forward a little bit. So if you think about the left hip drawing back towards the back of your yoga mat, finding length right through the side body, you'll have your spine in a nice neutral position for this posture. This is a nice one. I feel like I could stay here all day. We have lots of fun things to do. So let's belly scoop in, gently press into the left hand. Inhale, extend the arm. Exhale, placing it back to hands and knees. I can shuffle back again for the other side. So we'll inhale, lengthening that left arm into a T position. On the exhale, other side. So gently lowering that left cheek to your yoga mat. And while we're here, now it's the right hip that we're thinking about lengthening to the back of your yoga mat. Lengthening basically through the right side body. To come out, press into that right hand. Inhale, extending the arm. And exhale, placing it back down. From here, we'll head all the way up and back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So tucking those toes. I like to just take a second here. It feels nice on the toes and the Achilles and the calves a little bit, and then pressing up and back. And since it's our first downward facing dog, maybe walking it out a little bit, just some organic movements to work out all the kinks. From here, we'll step the feet all the way forward to the top of your mat, landing in a forward fold. Allow the neck to soften here. And then slowly ragdoll, one vertebra at a time, all the way to standing. From here, we'll head into kind of a fun variation of a pose. So we'll not do a full salutation here. We'll just do that first movement. Raise the arms way up high to your Urdhva Hastasana. And then we'll head into Parshva Urdhva Hastasana. So we'll do a little banana. But before we move, let's interlace the fingers except for the index fingers. This is not what we would typically do in Urdhva Hastasana, but it's nice to do this for Parshva. So lengthening through the spine, inhaling here. On the exhale, tipping over to the right and pausing there. Extra challenge, I suppose you could have the palms together, but I like to interlace, and the reason why is because then you can use your bottom arm to try and help lengthen. Let's see if I can get my arms in camera. Lengthen that top arm. Belly scooping in for this one, trying to not just hinge at the low back, but rather a full, complete, like a half of a circle. Feeling that stretch right underneath the armpit and the whole left side body. Belly scoops in. On an inhale, we come all the way up. On the exhale, other side, so up and over, not just hinging at that low back. It likes to try and take all the twist. Don't let it. We're warming up everything else that's needed for all of our twists to have a nice neutral spinal knee twist. So now feeling the stretch on the right side body as your bottom arm is lengthening the top. Breathing deep. Belly scoops in. On your next inhale, coming all the way up. And release to Tadasana, mountain pose. So now we'll prepare for our sun salutations. We'll do 3 classical to get nice and warm. See if we can really smooth things out. Standing up nice and tall, lengthening the fingertips down towards the ground. Here we go. On the inhale, raise the arms. Up. On the exhale, gliding forward nice and smooth. Uttanasana. Inhale for flat back. Exhale. Down, step the right foot back, way back. Gently lower the knee, untuck the toes, sweep the arms for Anjaneyasana, low lunge pose. Not here too long. We'll float those hands down through lunge, stepping it back to plank, heading into our little inchworm posture, Ashtanga Pranam, knees, chest, chin. Keep those hips high, arching the back. Scoop it through, peel the chest off the floor for a little baby back bend. And release. Pressing up and back to downward facing dog, but we're not here long. Right foot steps forward, back knee gently lowers, untucking those toes, arms sweep for Anjaneyasana, low lunge pose on the second side. Floating the hands down through lunge. This time back foot steps all the way forward, lengthening the spine into flat back. On the exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. And exhale, returning to a tall mountain. Again, inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, this time left foot steps way back. Gently lower the knee, untuck the toes, arms sweep. Feeling a nice stretch. Floating down through lunge, stepping it back to plank, and lowering knees, chest, chin. Scoop it through to the belly, peel the chest for a little bitty back bend. Release, and downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, back knee gently lowers, untuck those toes, arms sweep. Heading down through lunge. And where were we? Back foot steps forward already. My goodness, Carla. Looking up to the horizon for flat back. And forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And release to Tadasana Mountain Pose. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back. Sweep the arms. Exhale, lunge. Plank. Knees, chest, chin. Scoop it through. Feel the chest. Release. And downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, sweeping all the way through to low lunge pose. Floating the hands down. Back foot steps forward all the way into flat back. Forward fold. All the way up, reaching up high, getting taller. Returning to mountain. Other side. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left foot steps back. Sweep the arms. Down through lunge. Stepping it back to plank. And lowering knees, chest, chin. Scoop it through, peeling the chest. And downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, back knee lowers, sweeping the arms. Down through lunge, back foot steps forward. Into flat back. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale to mountain. Last time, really thinking about the breathing. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back, back knee lowers. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, plant the hands. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, little back bend. Exhale, downward dog. One big inhale, right foot forward, back knee down, sweep the arms. Exhale, plant the hands. Inhale, back foot steps forward all the way to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. Exhale to mountain. Last time, last side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back, back knee lowers. Inhale, arms sweep. Exhale, plant the hands. Inhale, stepping it back to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, scooping through to a back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Here we go for a big inhale. Left foot steps forward, back knee lowers, arms sweep, same inhale. Exhale, hands lower. Inhale, back foot steps forward, all the way, same inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, reaching up high. Exhale, returning to a tall mountain. Let's carry on. Even if we're feeling a little warm, it's good. We'll need it later. We're ready for Utkatasana, powerful pose. Bend the knees, sweep the arms. Holding here, breathing deep. We usually do this in a sun salutation, but now we're doing a standalone posture How to draw the arms back, back, back using posterior chain, back body strength. From here, bend the elbows. We'll do Parivrita Utkatasana. So let's cross right elbow over left knee. And there's a tendency here to curve and round through the spine. Instead, lengthen. So if you need to release the hands to help the twist a little more, eventually the hands are near the sternum as we rotate. But the same thing as we were doing while we were seated, almost try to keep the belly button facing square to your legs or to the floor. And you can look up, but try not to crank on the neck. Most of that twist is in the mid-back. If you want to open the arms, you can do so. Bringing them back, squaring it up. Either stand for a moment of rest for extra challenge, staying in your squat. Other side. Twisting to the other side. You can release the arms if you want to. Breathing deep, so lengthening through the spine so that we don't hunch the back. If you want to open the arms, go ahead and do so. Bringing it back in, squaring it all up, back to Utkatasana. Whew, and standing tall. Here we go right away into Sun Salutation B. Okay, I'm procrastinating just a little. If there's any like wardrobe malfunctions happening, you need to just adjust. Okay, we're not procrastinating. We're just taking a moment to set ourselves up for success. Now we can stand nice and tall, preparing for a super invigorating Sun Salutation B. Heels and toes together. Bend the knees. Sweep the arms. Utkatasana. Exhale, gliding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale down, back through plank. Chaturanga this time. Remember, you can lower your knees to the mat first if you like. And you lower to your low push-up. Inhale for Cobra or Up Dog if that's in your practice. And exhale. Downward Facing Dog. Right foot steps forward, back heel lowers. Sweep the arms for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. We're not here long. We float the hands down through lunge, stepping it back to plank, and lowering Chaturanga. Inhale for Cobra or Up Dog. And exhale. Downward Facing Dog. Other side. Left foot steps forward, back heel spins down. Sweep the arms up. Float the hands down through lunge, back through plank, and lower Chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward Dog or Child's Pose. Slow, deep breathing. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms. Utkatasana. Standing tall, Tadasana Mountain Pose. Again, bend the knees, sweep the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back through plank, and lower Chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale, Downward Facing Dog. Right foot steps forward, back heel spins down. We sweep the arms up. Down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale up. Exhale down. Other side, left foot steps forward, back heel spins down, float the arms up. Down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale up, and exhale. Downward dog or child's pose. Slowing down the breathing. And send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Heels and toes together, bend the knees, sweep the arms. Utkatasana, powerful pose. And standing tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, let's take a little vinyasa to get into the next posture. So we're up at the top of our mat, heels and toes together. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back to plank. And lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Just taking a moment here. From here, let's go into crescent pose to prepare for our next posture. So take a step forward with your right foot. Back heel stays up high to the sky. Sweep the arms. Chandrasana, crescent pose. From here, you may wish to sneak your block right in front of your supporting foot or your right foot, your forward foot. This foot, like so, goes right here. Sweeping the arms up. From here, we'll go through warrior three. So we transfer all at once, nice and smooth, to that front foot. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Back leg lifts up. From here, release the hands down to the floor or your block for a bit of a standing split. Now our pose is Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana, so revolved half moon. We've got our back leg up, already in the right position. We keep the left fingers down, open up the right arm. Breathing deep. Try not to have too much weight on the fingers. To come out, we reverse course. Back to your standing split. Back to warrior three. Back to crescent. Down through lunge. Take a little vinyasa. Back through plank. Or if you're like, no, Carla, just head right back to child's pose. Lowering chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale. Downward facing dog. Other side. So left foot steps forward. Back heel stays up. We're doing that whole gamut on the left. Super excited you can be now that you know what you're doing and how fun it is. So you can, it's okay. You can smile. It's okay. From here, heading into warrior three. We transfer that weight. And even bringing the hands to heart center, we lift the back leg. From here, your blocks are handy. Fingertips reach towards the floor. And we open up the left arm. Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. Try not to have too much weight on those fingertips. They're just there to steady, help your balance. We reverse course. Back to your standing split. Back to your warrior three. Back to Chandrasana, nice soft landing. Little vinyasa down through lunge, plank, and lower. Inhale, up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Then send the feet forward. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. From here, let's turn to face the long edge of our mat. Step the feet apart, about one leg's length apart. Hiking up your pants is optional. It's not necessarily part of the sequence or choreography. Preparing for Parivrita, Arda, Prasarita. So we have the feet about one leg's length apart and they're parallel, like skis. Then we'll bring the hands to the hips. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold, releasing the fingertips to the floor. Warming up the spine a little bit more as we lengthen through the backs of the legs. Open up the right arm to the sky. So same thing again. See if you can keep your navel pointing to the floor. Opening up through the mid-back and not cranking on the neck too much. So the neck, the head looks up, but minor twist on the low back and the neck, as most of the twist is in the mid-back. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, put it back down. Other side, arm sweeps up. Navel pointing down. Looking up, but not so much on the neck. Really trying to get that mid-back to twist. One more inhale to lengthen. Exhale, put it down. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, hold, but hands to the hips. Nice and slow when you're ready. On an inhale, come on all the way up. If you feel lightheaded, one palm to the forehead. And from here, heel toe in. We'll prepare for Garudasana prep pose or eagle prep pose. So standing up at the top of your mat, transfer the weight onto your left foot. And this one I like to do that little safety bit first just because it's a good thing. So we cross the right ankle over. Remember, if you're going to fall, just release that foot. And like I said, I've been doing this one for years and I still, just practice. Just make it a habit. If you fall, release that top foot. Then when you're ready, cross that ankle over, bring the hands to heart center, and here we go. So keep the spine neutral, nice and long, and just lower until you feel a nice stretch through that right hip. Maybe if you're still looking for a little bit more of a stretch, release the hands down to the floor. To come out, we slowly and carefully, even if you're really good at it, be mindful as you come all the way out, returning to Tadasana mountain pose. Preparing for the other side, we transfer that weight onto the right foot. This time left ankle crosses over. Again, safety. If you fall, release that top foot. Just let it go. And when you feel like, yeah, I got it. Then we begin. Nice and smooth, same care and attention as we gave the first side. Smooth, smooth, smooth. And then to come out nice and smooth. Slow, slow, slow. Same care and attention to detail as the first side. Returning to Tadasana mountain pose. Preparing for a really fun posture here. So heading into Parivrita Hasta Padangusthasana, which is a revolve, twist, and a balance, super deluxe fun pose. For this one, it's a good one when you do the hike up on the pants. Okay, you don't have to be graceful in yoga. This is why I left ballet for yoga, because it's better in that regard. Okay, so from here, we'll transfer our weight onto our left foot. And maybe it's because I know I'm going to go off on just a quick tangent here. In yoga, there's often, I have found anyways, kind of three components of your physical practice. There's flexibility, there's strength, and there's balance. It seems to me everyone's like better at one or two things than they are at the third. Maybe some people are completely even, but I know for me, balance is not my forte. Of the three of them, it's right. So with any balance posture, I take a moment beforehand to really focus. So I'm standing on my left leg. I double check that it's parallel. So I set myself up for success. I'm only going to be on one leg for this posture, so I want it to be especially sturdy and stable. Then from here, I'm going to pick up my right knee. You can join me. And then the easiest variation of this pose, which is completely acceptable, by the by, left hand to the right knee. And then you just want to get rid of your other hand to the hip. From here, lifting up nice and tall, opening up, and we're doing a little twist. So if that's enough for you, hang out there. If you'd like to go further, then the left hand actually goes to the outside of that foot. And then, with the supporting leg straight, we start to straighten that top leg only as much as it'll go. So don't straighten it all the way if it doesn't want to go. And then lifting up tall, we open up the right arm to the back behind you. Breathing deep. For extra challenge, look beyond those back fingertips. To come out, reverse course, slowly, 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 slowly. If you were really focused on your supporting leg, you should feel a small fire in this area, just the small area of the leg, which is bonus. Other side. Lifting up nice and tall. And again, just set yourself up for success. So think about the balance. You need a sturdy, sturdy foundation for all poses, obviously, but feels like sort of specifically if you're only using one limb to balance on, even more so. So right leg plants into the earth, lifting up that left knee. That first variation, if you did that on the first side, repeat it for the second side. Right hand to left knee, opening up through the heart. If you want to go further, and if you did on the first side, then we clasp onto the outer edge of that front foot, and then slowly extending. And then we open up the other arm. And if you're feeling ambitious, you look beyond the back fingertips. To come out, we reverse course, nice and slow. And we release. Yay! We return to Tadasana. Let's head into a classical sun salutation. You don't have to add the weird arms like the jazz arm. Don't just Tadasana mountain pose. Here we go. Arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, right foot steps back. Back knee lowers. Sweep the arms for your Anjali-asana. And then we'll float the hands down, stepping it back to plank. I'm preparing for knees, chest, chin. So see if you can arch the back just a little bit more. Knees, chest, chin. Scoop it through. Peel the chest for a little back bend. And release. Pressing up and back to downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, back knee lowers. Sweep the arms. Low lunge pose. Planting the hands. This time back foot steps forward. Into flat back. And release. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high. And exhale to a tall mountain. Other side. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left foot steps back, lowering the knee, sweep the arms. Heading down through lunge, stepping it back to plank, and lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, and exhale down. Left foot steps forward, back knee lowers, sweep the arms, heading down through lunge. This time back foot steps forward, into flat back, and exhale down. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, and exhale to a tall mountain, flowing right away into Urdhva Hastasana, hands up pose. Exhale, gliding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, back through plank, and lower, Chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale, release, press up and back to Balasana, child's pose. Take a few moments here. Breathing deep. And then allow your breathing to soften, just returning to normal breathing. Through the nose. And slowly come on up to seated. Point the feet forward, Hindandasana, staff pose. From here, we'll prepare for Bharata Vajrasana. To do this pose, swing the legs over to the left. So bring them over to the left. And that bottom foot just goes beneath the ankle of the top foot. And the knees are not super close together, not super far apart, but just like a nice, comfortable seated position with the feet off to the side. Lifting up nice and tall, we'll twist to the right. So lifting up tall, navel tries to stay forward. That really ensures that your pelvis stays neutral. And then we twist by placing the left hand across the right leg and lifting up tall. From here, everything is twisting to the right except the head. Well, look, over the left shoulder. The tricky part about this, there's two things. One is the slouching, so we want to lift up nice and tall. But the second thing is to keep the chin level. So it's just a swivel of the neck. We're not lifting the chin, but it stays parallel to the earth. To come out, we unravel and unwind. Return to Dandasana, staff pose to prepare for the other side. Swing the legs over to the right, exact same setup. So that bottom foot just goes beneath the ankle. Knees are not too close together, not too far apart, and lifting up tall. We twist to the left, right arm crosses over the left knee. Once you have your twist nice and open, then we turn very carefully the head away from the twist. Double check that the chin isn't lifted. If you don't have a mirror in front of you, that's actually great. But I like to just kind of go like this to see, am I parallel with the floor? Is my chin, is what little chin I have parallel to the floor? Lifting up tall. To come out, we unravel and unwind and return to Dandasana, staff pose. For this pose, we're actually doing this pose for a few deep breaths, so we'll really pay attention to it. Remember to not pull the flesh of the buttocks away, but rather be on the squish, right on the sit bones. And then lift up tall. I like to even point the toes in this one. So for this one, when you point the toes, the rest of the legs kind of automatically activate. It's a good way to make that happen. Then we lift up nice and tall and press the heels of hands into the floor, if available, or whatever of the hands will press into the floor, with lifting everything up nice and tall. and release. From here, we'll prepare for one of my favorite poses, Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes pose. For this one, most of us will need a block to sit on because it's a fairly decent hip opener. So if you know, yeah, my hips are tight, I need a block, just go ahead and sit up on that block. Then what we do is we bend the knees, place the feet on the floor. The left foot goes through, just kind of like we did in the beginning of class, but we did our thread the needle with our arms. This one is like a thread the needle with the foot. So the foot goes, or with the legs, beneath you, and you can't maybe see my foot, but it's right beside the hip and the toes point. Before I go further, I like to break this one down quite a bit. So be sure that the knee is pointing directly forward. So it's right in line with the pubic bone. And then you should feel already maybe a nice little stretch in through the left hip. Then the right foot moves over top of the left. Now it's going to want to probably splay out to the side. Don't let it. This is what's so cool about this pose. I want my sole of the foot to be on the floor. So it's just outside of that supporting knee. Now this knee, I'm going to internally rotate. So it's going to be across from my sternum. And I might also feel a stretch on this hip. Lifting up nice and tall, what I like to do is just grab hold of the top knee and draw it inward like it's trying to go towards your sternum. Lifting up tall, take a moment with just the legs only. Double check you've got your top knee right on top of the bottom. Both knees in line with the central axis of the body. From here, we twist. So we twist to the right. You can either hug the knee for a milder twist or cross the arm right over. Lifting up nice and tall as we twist to the right. For extra challenge, if you want to find the inside of that right foot, you can do that with your left arm. And to come out, inhale to lengthen. Exhale, unravel, and unwind. Returning to Dandasana staff pose, preparing for the second side. Again, we bend the knees, feet to the floor, and we do that thread the needle thingy. So right foot goes through, and then as you can see, this foot is beside the hip, toes are pointed. Double check before I do anything with that second leg that the first knee is situated directly in line with the central axis of the body. Then the left foot crosses over and lands on the outside of that right knee. Double check and take a moment in that juicy stretch. I love this stretch just for the legs alone. Lifting up nice and tall. We're internally rotating that top leg as the bottom leg is externally rotating. Lifting up nice and tall. You can either hug the knee if that's the variation you did on the first side, or cross it right over. Lengthening through the spine, opening up the shoulders to face the long edge of your mat. And again, if you clasped onto the foot for that first side, you can go ahead and do that on the second side. And then to come out, we unravel and unwind, returning to Dandasana staff pose. Preparing for another one of my favorites, Marichyasana C. So for this one, again, be on the squish. So I like to do a little reset. Then another nice twist. With so many wonderful twists in this sequence. I love it. We bend the right knee and draw it in as close to the sit bone as possible. Same arm position as that last Ardha Matsyendrasana, but for this one, you can hug the knee for a gentle stretch and open up. So you can stop here, or for a little extra challenge, or sort of like phase kind of 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C, or something. We cross over. So if you're able to cross that arm over, you might be able to bind. So for this one, you would take the arm that's crossed over and wrap it around the bent leg, finding the hands behind you. And to come out, you release all the way back to Dandasana staff pose. So if you tried the bind on the first time, try it again on the second side, or do the bind. I actually really like not binding because I find I can go further. So on that second side, bending through that left leg, same arm as the first side, so either hugging the knee in, or for extra twist, cross the arm over. Just take a moment, if you are doing the bind, take a moment to see when you use that elbow as a little bit of leverage, not reefing on it, I didn't say that, but a little bit of gentle leverage, you can open up quite a bit more. But then when you add the bind, there's no more leverage. So I kind of like to do this one without the bind, but whatever works for you. So that hand is going towards the belly button, and then finding the hands behind you. And slowly, slowly, return to Dandasana staff pose for 5 deep breaths. So planting the hands into the floor and lifting up nice and tall. Let's point the toes. Get those legs activated for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Release. Now we get to lie down for a couple of really yummy postures. So we lay all the way down, preparing for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana or bridge pose. Laying back, bend the knees, planting the feet just slightly wider than like hip distance apart. Make sure that they're parallel though. It's hard to see, but this is where we try to get that mind-body connection. I can't see my feet, but can I feel? Are they tipped out to the sides or are they parallel? If you need to, you can actually physically look at them. Then arms along the sides, palms facing down, looking straight up at the ceiling. From this point, the head doesn't move. Press the hips high to the sky and try to create as much space between your body and the floor as possible. If you'd like to go a bit further, interlace the fingers beneath you and gently, carefully tuck the shoulders beneath you as the neck remains neutral. Once again, reaching the hips high to the sky, creating a lot of space between yourself and the floor. The other thing we're trying to do is just ever so slightly pretend there's a block between the knees and gently press into that block. So not a lot, but just a little to encourage the femurs or the thigh bones to be parallel to each other. There's sometimes a tendency to splay the knees out, so in order to compensate, we just a little bit think about internally rotating those legs. We don't actually want them to internally rotate, but if we think about internally rotating, then we may result in parallel legs. One more inhale to lengthen. To come out, we release the hands, gently untuck the shoulders, and then release the hips down to the floor. And maybe we'll find an Apanasana here. Hug the knees in, little rock side to side. From here, we'll prepare for Supta Parivartanasana. It's a one-legged twist. So extending the arms up to the side in a T position. If you do not have the space like me, you can bring the hands into like a cactus or a box shape. Then from here, I like to start with both knees on the floor. Don't do that. Both feet on the floor. Yoga makes you zen. So both feet on the floor. Then, as you hug the right knee into your chest, scooch the hips over to the right. So the hips go the same direction as the knee that's bending. So you can either do that first and then bend the knee in, or bend the knee. It's like a lift and scooch, kind of simultaneous. And then once your hips are shifted, that bottom leg can extend downward as the right knee moves to the left towards the floor or one of those blocks. And the most important thing is to be sure that right shoulder remains securely on the floor. If you're looking for a bit bigger stretch in the spine, feel free to do the twisted roots variation. So you just sort of tuck that bottom knee in, only if it's available. Squeak. And breathing deep. If it's available on your neck, again, not turning too much, but looking over the right arm. And allow gravity to assist this posture. And to come out, I could stay there all day. Belly scoops in as the low back presses into the floor. Unraveling, unwinding. Let's square everything up and take just a wee Apanasana between sides, maybe a little rock. And then we'll prepare for the second side. Same variation as you did on the first side. So feet to the floor. We'll lift that left knee up, the hips scooch over to the left, and then extend that bottom leg as the left knee moves over to the right, or maybe you're doing the twisted roots variation. Maybe looking over to the left, maybe closing the eyes because it feels so amazing. The other thing that's nice to do here is feel like there's an imaginary stirring on the left hip. So it's the top hip and drawing down towards the bottom of your yoga mat. So what it does is it provides just a little bit of traction on the spine. Let's come out, belly scoops in. Press the low back down into the floor. Take your time out of these really luxurious twists. And we square everything up and hug both knees into your chest for Apanasana. Then from here we come up to seated again, but it's for a good reason. This is one of the funnest poses ever, but first, Carla, don't get ahead of yourself. Let's roll over to the right, pause for a moment. And then we'll slowly press ourselves all the way up to Dandasana staff pose. And then we'll prepare for Parivrita Janushirshasana. And for this one, I like to face the long edge of my mat because reasons, you'll see. So for this one, let's start with the feet. There's a lot of different ways to get in and out of each posture, but for this one, let's step the feet apart. Now, I like to have my hips and my heels all on the mat, so this is why I like to turn sideways on the mat. And for this one, let's bend the left knee in. So you've got your left leg bent, kind of like Baddha Konasana or Janu Shirshasana, facing forward, but this one is facing to the side. If you have more flexibility, you can situate this leg a little bit more of an obtuse angle, like more out, more like that, for lack of English. Lifting up nice and tall, what we'll do is press firmly into both sit bones and then reach your right arm along your leg and eventually clasping onto the foot. If it doesn't reach, that's okay, just reaching along that leg. So So we've already got a nice side body stretch happening. And then the top arm also reaches, lengthening this way, holding here, or eventually clasping onto the outer edge of the foot, and then rotating the heart to the sky. And to come out, nice and slow, all the way up, and then we'll change sides. That one's such a nice side body stretch. So we'll extend the left leg as the right leg bends in. So again, you can situate, we're trying to be as flat as available. And if that's not very much, that is A-okay. Lifting up nice and tall, feeling super happy with wherever we're at. Lengthening through the spine, reaching the left arm towards those toes or to the inner arch. And then the top arm reaches as well, lengthening. We'll only be in this one for a little bit, but this is one of those poses I like to do in my personal practice. I take like 10 minutes on each side for this one and just really work on each individual action. And it's quite astounding how things open up over time. And to come out, lengthening, floating all the way up, returning to Dandasana staff pose. We're so almost done class today, and I'm almost sad because it's such a good sequence today, but we finished with one of the nicest poses, and that is Paschimottanasana. I just about got ahead of myself there. Paschimottanasana. We're going to do that one first, lifting up nice and tall. And then remember not to pull the thing, the swish, lifting up tall, forward fold. Paschimottanasana. Whoopsie. Breathing deep. This is such a good pose to counter all of our really therapeutic twists that we did today. Provides a little bit of traction on the spine, a little bit of length and space between each vertebra. And slowly, slowly start to come up. And then now we can go into legs up the wall pose. Viparita Karani. So scooching the hips as close to the wall as they'll go, and then rolling onto your back. And allow those legs to go up the wall. This is such a nice restorative posture. And it's so good to help. Like I talk about this every time we do this, all the benefits. I can't help it because there's just so many. It helps if you have edema or excess sort of water retention in the toes and the ankles. Sometimes that happens, especially in the summer. No danger of that right now as we're coming up on the end of November. And even just closing the eyes. It's nice to notice the sensation in the legs. If this is a pose that's not familiar to you, you might just feel the toes are a little bit cold, or if you're there long enough, you might feel a little bit of tingling. Just know that all of that is safe. It's completely safe. But if something becomes very uncomfortable, that's your body saying, I'm not ready for that yet. So if you need to come out at any time, feel free to do so. You can bend the knees in for Apanasana or just come completely out. Otherwise, you can just sort of wiggle the toes a little bit. I like to do that once in a while. Just a little bit longer here. And then just taking a big deep breath here, wiggling the fingers and the toes, bend the knees. And if you have the space, let's extend right into Shavasana from here. If you don't, then roll over to your right side and try to keep that Zen as you shift and move into your Shavasana. So wherever you're at, making your way all the way to Shavasana, final resting pose. And if your back needs a little extra support today, feel free to keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor. Otherwise, extend the legs and the arms as well along your sides, palms facing up. And close the eyes. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting those fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. And even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go. Starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. And reaching your arms above head on the floor. Give yourself a big stretch, feeling totally refreshed. And bend your knees in one at a time. And gently roll over to the right side. Pausing for a moment as you come back. And then slowly start to press yourself all the way up to a comfortable seated position. When you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall. And exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to thank yourself for showing up to your practice today and taking care of you. And another little silent thank you to someone who may have helped you recently, someone who needs a little extra thought today. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and a thank you, of course, to Mark Stevens for providing the sequence today. Have a really good rest of your day. See you next time.